Should you be posting shorts or live streaming on YouTube on separate YouTube channels from your main channel? Should you be directing people to your Discord or to a Twitch or to an email list? This question gets really complicated, so instead of just providing a basic answer that I don't feel really delivers the details that really help you make the right decisions, I'm basically going to tell you the entire process of running a YouTube channel in the modern era here in 2021 leading into 2022. It gets kind of wild, so this is going to be a bit more of a businessy video, but I think it's going to pay off if you stick with me here. This video is sponsored by Nerd or Die and their snowed in winter sale. Stay tuned till later in the video to find out my favorite stream package and how I've been completely overhauling my stream due to the awesome stuff that they provide. I'm EposVox, the stream professor, and I make typically tech videos, but guide videos on how to live stream, build your content creation workflow and arsenal, and kind of run your own online business here as an entrepreneur, content creator, what have you. I recently posted a video kind of detailing how live streaming has evolved from this thing where you kind of grow famous just by nature of being live in the first place to where it's very much more a singular tool in the tool belt of an overall content creator these days, and you can't just show up live and expect things to be sustainable. It was I consider a very good kind of detailed video about how to incorporate live streaming into your content creation business and how you should kind of be looking at it if you're an aspiring full-time content creator. One of the #1 questions I got on it as I was discussing the new meta that larger streamers focus on with regards to juggling multiple YouTube channels to separate content types was, well, what should I do as a fledgling creator, what have you, when it comes to posting my clips, my shorts, my VODs, my main videos, yada yada. In particular, I actually got a new tweet recently that I think actually asked this question kind of in the right way, in that I want to ask people smarter than, well, not that part. One channel for all content, or have shorts, live streams, and content-specific channels for your brand or brands. This, I think, identifies the juggling going on here. You see, back 4 or 5 years ago, the same question was being asked all the time, but it was of different content. Everyone wanted to do, can I do gaming videos and cooking videos and vlogs and this and that, and do I split that up into multiple channels? And the answer I gave then, and that so many people who figured out their way gave then, also applies now. And I'm actually very excited to break it down for you. I've got the legal pad broken back out. We're getting hardcore here. This video is going to very much focus on business and viewer behavior. Viewer behavior represents the entirety of what you know as the YouTube algorithm, and we're probably going to break this down a bit more in depth in future videos. Let me know what your questions are down below. But specifically, let's talk about YouTube channels as discoverability funnels. So when we're talking about marketing, we're talking about growing your content creator brand, your brand awareness. There are funnels. Don't know what a funnel is? Here's a lovely graphic. A funnel is set up so at the very top, these are your most widely distributed, widely reaching, content types, profiles, strategies, what have you, where at the very top, you are reaching people who mostly have zero idea who you are, what you're about, or what you can offer them. These come in the form of standard YouTube videos if they fit either the evergreen content category, meaning they are kind of helpful, value-offering video that last a really long time, or tentpole videos, which are built around specific events that people find due to their relevance to big things happening, like if you were making a video about Spider-Man right now, or what's called hero programming, which are big kind of major videos that also appease, your existing viewers, but are designed to attract new viewers. So there are things that, like, if you make I make a lot of OBS tutorials. While I make a lot of kind of in-depth, intermediate, and advanced OBS tutorials, my list videos or my beginner's guides for OBS are kind of the top of the funnel videos. Those are for the people who haven't heard of me yet, who haven't learned about OBS or streaming yet. I reach those with those videos. Then the middle of the funnel are the people who are aware of what you are, what you're about, what you do, and consume some of your content already. These would be the people who watch the intermediate or kind of more advanced OBS tutorials, some of my more side projects, or who show up for my live streams. The bottom of the funnel are the people who are very familiar with who you are, what you're about, what value you can offer them, and they're probably ready to buy from you, support you on a more deeper involved platform, subscribe to your Patreon, your Twitch stream, join your Discord, all those kinds of things. Now, how you funnel your viewers depends on what your end goals are. And I want you to, I feel like every year, every creator, and I'm going to be doing this and sharing this in my Discord and the secret chats. If you know how to get there, we'll talk about that later. But I feel like every year, every content creator that's trying to do this seriously should take the end of the year to rewrite or if you haven't done it before, write yourself a business plan that goes through what your objectives are, how you plan to get there, and the tools you're going to use to get there. And by having that as kind of your guiding Northern Star, you would be surprised at how many great things you can accomplish. So with that, figure out what your next step is for your viewers. You have your top of the funnel, you're reaching them with your content, your shorts, your clips, your TikToks, your whatever. You have your middle of the funnel, your live streams, maybe your Discord, your deeper level content and your social media profiles. Those are different places you can point people. But then you have your bottom of the funnel for the really bought in people. Is that a product you plan on building and selling to them? An ebook, a course, something like that? Joining your Discord server to get more kind of tightly knit into your community, or pledging to a paid subscription like your Patreon or your Twitch subscription. How you direct your people depend on what your goals are for that path. You want to really think about the viewer behavior, what their impression of you is, and how they follow that path from the top of the funnel of just hearing about you down to that bottom of the funnel of where you're trying to point them. So that's kind of the first framework I want you thinking about this, is that your YouTube channels, no matter how many of them you make for your content, they are funnels. That is going to be crucial here in a moment. For framework 2, we're going to look at it in the fact that viewer behavior is number 1. The entire YouTube algorithm, as you call it, as I said, the YouTube search and discovery system is not based on how can I make this creator more money? How can I get this creator views? How can I serve this creator's content to people? It is, how do I give this particular user, this viewer, the best possible experience that keeps them on the site, thus delivering them, the best content for them. It's not about you, the creator. It's about the viewer and the things they do, the ways that they watch, and how YouTube can best make them happy to keep them watching and keep earning YouTube, and inherently you, more money. So with YouTube, we have 3 main types of content in terms of literal different types of content you can submit to the platform. You've got your normal videos, just uploaded videos, VODs. You've got live streams that you broadcast to the platform. And then you've got shorts, which you can either upload directly or create with the mobile app if you like, although that's likely not the way to go. Videos and shorts represent the top of the funnel. Those are both tools you can use to reach as many people as possible and reach people who have never heard of you. Live streams represent that middle of that funnel. They're, regardless of what platform you're on, despite what people may tell you, there is no discoverability for live streams. Now, YouTube is working on this. Twitch is probably going to catch up and try to work on this in the first place. But generally speaking, there is very little discoverability for live streams. Now, every once in a while, you're going to have a new person show up who happened to search for a specific game on Twitch or find your stream on YouTube or get recommended it based on, again, viewer behavior. But you cannot rely on a live stream on any modern platform to be the top of the discovery funnel for you. It just doesn't work that way. And if you think about viewer behavior, realistically, live streams don't make sense to be the top of the funnel. In fact, there's a video from Devin Nash I'm going to recommend you where he talks about, he really found some in-depth statistics from Stream Hatchet about who is actually watching live streams. And the majority of the people who actually just log into Twitch and go and look for live streams are watching the same channels over and over. Those same viewers are the ones making up the bulk of the viewers on all of the top Twitch streams. The smaller streamers are getting those people over from YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or what have you. People aren't just showing up on Twitch and being like, I want to find somebody I've never heard of, mostly because there's no discoverability system for it, but also because, at least it's my belief, the content type isn't really conducive to that kind of workflow. Realistically, if you want to actually have a specific content experience or you want to find a specific thing, a live format isn't the way to go. Like if you're just purely like, I feel like watching some Halo Infinite gameplay or some Apex Legends gameplay, you can fire up the Twitch or YouTube stream machine and find you a stream with it. And if that is the only button you needed pressed in your brain, you probably got it. But you could also just as likely click on a few streams and watch an empty chair, watch people just kind of forehead talking to the stream while they're in between matches. You could very quickly not get what you want and bounce around a lot. Whereas with dedicated YouTube videos with that discovery system, you can get exactly the viewing experience you want. And YouTube's going to find you the best possible video for you. So combined with, my last video about the way live streaming is evolving and things like that, I don't think it makes sense as a creator or a business to even try to leverage live streaming as a top of the funnel metric. So with all this in mind, we've got the funnels, We've got the viewer behavior and how they respond to different content types. And remember, again, the bottom of the funnel is going to be your Discord, your Patreon, whatever. Think about how viewers are going to find you and where those people are. If you've been creating content on a YouTube channel, making high quality videos, trying to target SEO and get suggested views with your fancy titles and thumbnails, and making relevant content to trendy events and things like that to bring people in, if you then start live streaming on a completely separate channel, you have an entire separate mountain to climb to then take all those viewers that you've just started funneling in and funnel them to a completely separate platform. It's one thing to funnel them from one type of content to another. That's already hard enough and challenging enough for a lot of creators. But then to funnel them to an entirely different channel, you're going to experience inherently every time, you're going to experience a fairly significant drop off in how many viewers show up, because you're asking them to go to an entirely different place. And most of the time, those asks that you put in there to go follow you in that other place are going to be missed due to audience retention, due to just literal attention in the video, due to having to remind them every single time, due to the fact that many viewers are going to show up, only watch one video, and not click on your channel for a couple months potentially. So the grind to then build up an entire separate live streaming channel is a very slow one. On the contrary, if your live streamed content is wildly different from your main uploaded content, then you're going to really confuse the viewer behavior and possibly harm your YouTube channel. For example, I have a balance of my live streams. This seems to really throw people for a loop. But me sitting on Twitch like I did last night playing a Pokemon ROM hack or grinding in Halo Infinite does not fit the content type people subscribe to my YouTube channel for, which is tech education and streaming guides and talks like this. And it doesn't entirely make sense to start live streaming on that main YouTube channel with this type of content, which is why that type of content is often put off onto Twitch. Whereas if you want to follow those kinds of more raw game streamy streams, you go follow me on Twitch, not on YouTube. Now I have to take that extra effort to funnel people there. That has been a very slow grind, and especially due to my inconsistent schedule, it results in fewer viewers. But realistically, I'm going to turn a lot of people away if I have one type of content on this channel and start streaming a different kind of content, because the viewers who keep getting notifications and who keep showing up expecting the type of content they subscribed for are going to be like, what the hell is this? And start bouncing, which is both going to hurt the click-through ratio of those live streams and potential future videos, but also potentially just drive away subscribers in the first place. If you've watched any of my streams recently, you know I've had a blast completely revamping my stream graphics. And with that, I've been using Nerd or Die's StreamOS package. This was a package I effectively requested from the Nerd or Die devs. I'm even in the commercial for it that they run, which is pretty sick. And at least from my tinkering around, this is one of the more in-depth packages that you can get. It is all classic Windows 95, Windows 98 era themed. They have multiple themes within this package. So you've got the classic, looks like the operating system theme, but then you've got a Vaporwave one, a nighttime one, a cyberpunk one, and then you can make your own, tweaking the customs. You can change every icon. You can pick and choose your different elements and your widgets. They even have alerts that have different little pop-ups you can customize the graphics for. It is pretty wild, and this has been the most, impressed or involved I've been in a pre-made stream package in a very long time. I feel honestly really weird recommending it to you all because I don't want you all to have the exact same one as me, but that's the cool thing about the customization is I'm spending all my time on stream making this my own, so then when you boot yours up and you pick yours up at eposvox.gg/nerdordie and use coupon code EposVox to save 15% or check out their winter snowed-in streamer sale, yours will end up looking completely different too because you can customize it just the way you want. It is pretty stellar. And we're going to be doing a lot more streams as I kind of figure it out and tweak it for all my different use cases and things like that. Again, that's eposvox.gg/nerdordie to upgrade your stream today. Now, before we talk about YouTube Shorts, which is obviously part of the question here, or I guess clips of your stream, which I kind of grouped together, even though categorically they show up different on YouTube. That's a whole separate conversation we can have later. Before we talk about clips and shorts, I want to talk about the third and final framework you should be evaluating this through. So we have funnels, we have viewer behaviors in relation to the content types, and then we have the third framework, which is your own capacity to create content, manage a channel, and juggle a community. This is a big deal. New streamers, especially hearing advice from jerk-offs like myself, telling you to post on every platform and blah, blah, blah. So many of us, and actually, I think this applies to big experience creators like myself, especially those of us with ADHD and things like that as well. It affects us as well. You don't consider how much capacity you actually have to manage this because Every YouTube channel you run, again, is a separate funnel. Be that a funnel from first hearing about you to joining your Discord or your paid group or some other deeper involvement, or from just finding you to another YouTube channel. Every channel you run is a funnel. So, for example, kind of with the older YouTube style, if you had two separate channels based on, like one is based on gaming and the other is based on cooking. If you want to make those super, clickbaity or search optimized top level videos and then push people down to your deeper videos that they only really are going to see in the subscription box, you have to put in a lot of work on both channels to keep bringing those viewers in and pushing them to that deeper content, which the advice I always gave back then was don't start up a new channel unless you can commit to it for a regular recurring schedule, because you're going to have a significantly harder time really kind of building that audience and keeping that flow going if you can't juggle a workload. Meanwhile, if you just want to cook every once in a while and show it off, you can share it on Instagram or Twitter or live stream it, or just post a one-off video and somehow tie it into the rest of your content, either thematically or in some other way. The same applies to your content types here. So again, before we get to shorts, as we already covered, YouTube videos can be top of the funnel, but live streams can't really be top of the funnel. So if you make a whole separate channel for your live streams, you have to put in the work to establish the top of the funnel to point people to your live streams. Now, that top of the funnel can actually be your first funnel of your YouTube channel, but you're then putting in double overtime because you need people to find that YouTube channel, and then you need to raise the awareness in that YouTube channel about your other streaming channel and bring people over there, or otherwise make secondary content on your streaming channel to bring people to your live streams. That's a lot of extra work. Now let's involve YouTube Shorts and Clips. YouTube Shorts and Clips are a new way Shorts specifically is a new way to kind of involve viewers, get discovery, things like that. However, whether or not you post this to a whole separate channel involves both your capacity to maintain it as a recurring thing and the trade-offs of where that funnel goes, as well as when you think about the viewer behavior of shorts. Right now, if I open the YouTube app on my phone, go to YouTube, honestly, at this point, they kind of don't emphasize the short shelf, so you may not get it as often. Here we go. As soon as I scroll a little bit, we get the short shelf. This is how you start watching YouTube Shorts. 9 times out of 10, this is the only way people find your YouTube Shorts. They tap on one, and they start scrolling. They may subscribe to you, but statistically, in terms of how viewer behavior and how this whole platform works, and the same thing applies to TikTok, they're not going any deeper on the funnel here. They're not even really engaging with you at all. They're watching the video and scrolling. This is why so many people, get super inflated view counts on TikTok or on Shorts, because it's just people passively watching. Most of YouTube is about choosing the content that you want to watch, and then as a creator, optimizing for those choices, making better titles and thumbnails that are more click-grabby or relevant to what the viewers are actually looking for. Shorts are the complete opposite. It's about hooking the viewer as quickly as possible and getting them to watch the whole thing, and if you're lucky, converting them into a subscriber or viewer. Those kinds of viewers who may subscribe to Shorts are not going to turn around and watch multi-hour live streams unless they're already invested in you, and they're also not likely to turn around and watch a lot of videos. So whenever Shorts was first implemented and YouTube was heavily emphasizing them, it was a lot of people being like, look how many views and new subs I got, and then a couple months later, none of them are watching my videos. You really got to consider the viewer behavior with that. With all of that in mind, should you make a separate Shorts channel? That is a tough one. The short answer is it depends on how frequently you're going to be posting it. If you're able to generate and continue posting a lot of Shorts content, making a dedicated channel for it, both so you can point viewers who actually care about it from your main channel over to it, and so you don't annoy those viewers, is a huge boon. Plus, that acts as a secondary funnel to where you can funnel the dedicated viewers there to your other platform, because if they're that dedicated to come off a Clips channel somewhere else, you're probably going to be fine. If you're just posting them every once in a while as a quick highlight or just a short tutorial, I do this sometimes, posting that on your main channel as a second, or even on your streaming channel, if you're doing a secondary streaming channel, as a secondary kind of top of the funnel idea to just bring some new people, fresh faces in, that can work. Nothing wrong with that. Now, you can do the combo. I have seen a couple times. I think it's not the most effective route, but you could have a combo where you have a dedicated live streaming channel and then you post Shorts with that to bring people over. Now, this is typically most effective when it's a secondary tier funnel, and I talk about this again over in the live streaming video, but where you have the structure of kind of 3 channels, where you have your main YouTube channel, you have your Shorts and Clips channel, and then you have your streaming channel. You can kind of, or your VODs channel rather, you can kind of combine some of those ideas so that your Shorts and your Clips are basically a secondary funnel to find the viewers that already watch your channel, because if they watch your main channel a bunch on YouTube, then when you start posting clips of yourself, YouTube's going to be like, hey, you probably care about this, you watch this person or this type of content a lot, and point them over there. So you can kind of use it as a secondary grabby funnel to grab your existing viewers over to your streams, but that's not the most effective route. I have one more concept. This has been a super in-depth video. I don't usually post these on the public main channel. We'll talk about why. I have one more topic I want to discuss to kind of solidify this idea for you. It is generally a good idea to not exceed more than 2 or 3 of your top level kind of funnel platforms at all. Just because you can scale it based on, like if you have a content creation team or something like that, you can scale it infinitely. But based on your own capacity, generally don't aim to post to more than 2 or 3 platforms because you're just not going to be able to keep up. So then you have to decide, is that YouTube videos and streams? Is that YouTube videos and streams on one, clips and shorts on another? Is that YouTube videos and then stream VODs and then streams on Twitch? You got to decide what those 2 to 3 are and really hone in on them, because the more additional channels and thus funnels you introduce, the more work you have to do to go all in on them. And it's so much more effective to go all in on a smaller number of channels, platforms, funnels, than it is to post a lot of them and only do them halfway, because it is a lot of work to push people down that funnel. And if you're only going halfway, you're keeping a lot of people at a lot of the top of a lot of funnels and not finding any true success at the bottom. I do want to talk about some misconceptions real quick here in terms of whether live streams and shorts negatively impact your main YouTube channel. This is a big discussion that a lot of people have. Shorts can affect your CPMs because you're throwing a lot of like lower and more casual viewing audiences into your audience mix, and ads are apparently still based kind of somewhat channel wide. It is still very video or, per video based, but it is, there are some channel wide implications. And so ads can negatively impact your ad rates that you get paid on YouTube. If you're not even earning money yet, honestly, don't worry about it. What people get wrong is when they look at their YouTube analytics and they see their channel-wide audience retention stat going down because they have a bunch of viewers on a short video, that does not impact your channel in any way. That is just information and averages for you to consume. But YouTube does not evaluate your channel on a channel-wide basis when it comes to search, optimization or recommendations, suggestions, anything like that. It doesn't make sense for YouTube to. As a viewer, for when delivering a viewer the best possible content, YouTube doesn't care how a video you posted a year ago did, or how this short performed, or anything like that. YouTube cares about finding the exact specific video to deliver to a viewer, because that would create the best experience for that viewer. What else is on your channel doesn't really matter half the time. So just because you're getting a bunch of short views on a short has zero impact on what your standard video would do for that. What can happen though, and where I think some of that confusion comes in, is if you do get a bunch of subscribers on shorts and they're subscribing from the short feed, and then they see your videos in the sub feed and don't watch them because that's not really what they cared about, that lowers your click-through ratio for your video. And that initial click-through ratio matters a lot for who you're, as YouTube's trying to figure out who to show your video to. So if they have a bunch of people who just suddenly subscribe to you and they're not clicking on your video, YouTube's going to have a harder time finding the right people to click on your video. That's always a struggle. The same thing with live streams. Live streaming on your YouTube channel does not hurt your channel. However, the timing of your live streams and whether or not you have the VODs available and whether that content actually relates to what you mainly post or not, 100% affects how your channel performs. I talked about this in a previous video a year or two ago. I'll still link that below because it's still just as valid. But a lot of people will do a bunch of live streams and experiment with the new feature and then see their next videos start to perform worse and think, well, live streaming's killing my channel. It's not really what's happening. What's happening here is that they are doing a live stream. Okay, side tangent. I really hate it when creators who typically publish very high value, high production value content and structured content then do like a Q&A with me, or I'm gonna play a casual game for a little bit, or something, random or casual or not the same format at all live stream. And then things perform well and they're like, well, it isn't for me. The audience expectation there changes a lot. First, let's talk about timing. If you start streaming around the time a video goes live, or even shortly after a video goes live, or during a time where a video is performing very, very well, starting live streaming can kind of mess up the system, because instead YouTube has to decide whether it wants to show you the kind of more important in the moment notification that you're live, or the the recommendation in the homepage or what have you, or the slot for the video. And so inherently you're competing with yourself there. Now, if your live stream content is in line with the rest of your content, that's not as much of a problem, because if your live stream is just as enticing to click on as your video and it's delivering the same value, the viewer is likely to click on it. If it's, like for me, example, if my video slot is how to use this OBS plugin that so many of my viewers have been waiting for versus I'm playing Pokemon Red today, they're not going to click on Pokemon Red, and they lost the opportunity to watch that OBS video potentially. And then that's a missed click-through ratio because people are seeing my content, not clicking it, which hurts the recommendations in the future of that specific stream or video. That's a problem. However, you can leverage live streams to make videos perform better. And actually, Ludwig has been talking about this with his switch over to YouTube. He's basically been ending his live streams by, instead of rating a streamer like you would on Twitch, rating a new video. He holds off his new video to publish and publishes it as soon as he ends his stream and sends everyone to that video. So suddenly his brand new video has a massive influx of viewers, and those viewers are coming from other content and then probably watching through to additional content that makes his videos perform even better. You can leverage that too. And then of course you have the VODs. If your VODs are casual game streaming VODs, like most of what is streamed to Twitch, it is not very watchable, and it's definitely not very clickable. And if you have a subscriber that is clicking fewer and fewer of your videos because you're streaming more, so every time they get recommended you, they're not clicking on it because they don't want to watch a 4-hour stream VOD of your forehead playing Call of Duty or Apex Legends, then YouTube's slowly going to stop recommending them your other videos. In an ideal scenario, YouTube can kind of navigate and bob and weave and start recommending the right videos from your channel. But eventually, like if they just stop watching your videos because half of them are live streams and they don't want to click on those VODs, that's a problem. You can get around this by either unlisting your VODs when you're done and just keeping them in an unlisted playlist, then it's not a huge deal. You do have kind of conflicting notifications not being clicked on to worry about, but not a huge deal overall. Or structure your streams so that they are formatted as a kind of show that is still watchable. I have a whole series on this. This is how I run streamer news, so that the stream at the end is still watchable as a video and just as clickable, and people would have watched it whether it was a video or stream anyway. All this wraps into the bottom of the funnel, which of course comes down to the call to action. The main thing you are trying to get people to, and you need to direct viewers with precision. And I think you need to have a kind of a scale of, if you're posting to 2 to 3 kind of top of the funnel platforms, you need to only really have one final thing. Nothing is worse than when you end a video and you're like, and I'm saying this as something that I listed as one of the things I need to fix for 2022. But nothing is worse than ending a video where you got a viewer hooked, they've watched to the end of the video, they think you delivered value, and then you're like, yeah, subscribe, follow me on Twitch, join me on Patreon, follow my Ko-fi, donor box, Floatplane, Nebula, blah, blah. That's too much. And that also shows a lack of commitment to one idea. You need to direct people to a singular place that they believe you are going to continue to add more value for. For this video, that is my Discord. I have Discord paid subscriptions called premium memberships. It is basically like Patreon or what have you, but I am building it up so that the first and second tiers of it are effectively kind of like business consultation groups, where this kind of thing, the notes I usually take for this kind of stuff, are the content that I typically post there to get more in the weeds and really involved with how you structure your channels as a business and build them up, and really kind of focus on this hardcore level of how do I do it right if I really want to be a creator. That's where I go over there. I recommend the tier 2 sub because that's where the real kind of mastermind group is and where we can bounce off each other and give feedback. And I'm now offering like free consultation channel reviews and things like that for that tier. That is where I suggest you to go. That's it. That is my bottom of the funnel right now, and that is the best possible place. And I do recommend people leverage a service like Discord or Patreon for this kind of thing, because it also acts as a secondary notification system. I can always ping when I have a new video and don't have to just rely on YouTube or what have you. So I hope this video has provided value to you. I hope it has been informative. I know it's a little long, but it's one of these kind of master classy kind of formats that I really, every once in a while, I just want to deliver the best possible information to answer what seems like a simple question when it's really not. And I don't like making simple videos about questions when the answer is way more complicated than that. If you enjoyed, again, check out the Discord. Otherwise, I'm EposVox, the stream professor. Remember, be kind, rewind.